Good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School boys basketball. Hi, I'm John Meggiiolaro with Phil Hill and Jim Allinder for tonight, our season opener, East Brunswick against J.P. Stevens. And Jimmy, East Brunswick comes in 2-3, some new faces this year.
Yeah, a lot of new faces as a matter of fact, but one mainstay, Tim Cannon, and he's going to be an important player for the Bears tonight. Timmy's averaging about 15 points a game. He's also being aided by Matt Van Leeuwen, a new face, just a sophomore, but a very talented player. And if you combine those two along with Neil Beck, who has been a mainstay, those are the three starters back. And you got some other new faces like Richie Whalen, and we're going to see Brian Bencherwitz. And if you put all these guys together, you got a lot of inexperience, but you got a lot of good talent. And Bo Henning, the coach, says that this might be the best outside shooting team that East Brunswick has had in quite a few years, and that will manifest itself towards the middle of the season. We might have some growing pains between now and then.
I was just going to ask you, Jim, is this a fast break team? You mentioned outside shooting. Do they move quick up and down the court, or are they a half-court team?
Yeah, there's going to be the outside shooting is going to avail itself to more of a half-court type of offense for East Brunswick. They don't have quite the team speed. Greg Kohlheim, of course, the quarterback, who has a lot of speed, but he's out with an injured ankle and out indefinitely. But Kareem Glover is going to be back, so that might help in the speed department. But I think you're going to find that the trademark of this team is going to be its outside shooting. Hopefully they can control some of the boards against some team, especially like J.P. Stevens tonight. Okay.
Phil, we go over to Stevens. They come in 2-2.
Right.
How do they look?
I'll tell you, it's 2-2, and it's sort of unpredictable. You can't really tell at this point in time, John. But they're sort of a mirror image of East Brunswick. You're young and inexperienced. One thing they got going for them, they won the JV County Championship, so they got a lot of young talent, which they're going to put on display tonight. They caught several good ball players led by Timmy Babbage, a guard averaging 13 points per game, and they got a transfer from Perth Amboy Tech, state champs Perth Amboy Tech, Jose Crespo, who's going to give them some added firepower as well. So you're going to see two teams that are very similar in many ways.
Well, okay, we're ready. A new year, a new season. We welcome you to Channel 8 and boys basketball. We'll be back with the tip-off in just a moment. Well, good evening and welcome to tonight's game between East Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. The Hawks visiting at the high school. East Brunswick will be in the home green. Stevens in the visitor white. Floor is all spiffed up. They're ready to go.
And we got a new clock operator this year here.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Kenny Logan used to be wearing the stripes.
Yeah, that's right.
Now he's doing the clock.
We mentioned East Brunswick comes in 2-3 record coming out of that McCorston tournament, or I guess it's the Eastern States now.
Eastern States.
Stevens 2-2, and East Brunswick will control. Whalen will set things up. We mentioned they're a half-court team. He drives. Ball loose, controlled by Beck. Jim, it's clear that Whalen is the setup man.
Yes, he is. I'll be truthful. This is my first look at East Brunswick. I read a lot about him.
They're going to call a charge on Cannon.
That's an offensive foul, I tell you.
Bencherwitz, okay.
Cannon, I believe.
Cannon, Tim.
We'll watch Stevens now go on offense. Phil, they don't seem to match up too bad height-wise.
They're pretty even, but I tell you, this backcourt is the strength of this Piscataway team. They got some fine shooters and fine ball handlers.
Phil, you mentioned that there's another foul they have.
Turnover, over to East Brunswick.
Okay. One of the reasons why East Brunswick might expect to improve on their record this year is that the overall talent, quality, if you will, of the GMC, the red division, might be a little bit down this year.
I don't think it's as strong as it's been in years gone by.
And Lewin on the drive, won't go. Controlled by O'Toole. He'll bring it down quickly. He's going to have to pull up. There's no one there.
I'd be really interested to see how East Brunswick does on the boards. I think that's where, if they're going to make some good strides against some of the better teams, they're going to have to get some good board strength.
Shot is good. That's by number 11, Babbage.
It's a three-pointer.
And Timmy Babbage he came in this game with 8 three-pointers, and that's his 9th right there, just a fine outside touch.
Hawks on top 3-0 and a turnover by the Bears.
And I guess this is what Coach Henning means when he talks about inexperience and growing pains, because 3 trips down the floor here for the Bears, and they really haven't done well.
Nothing to show. Babbage gives it to O'Toole.
Bears in a tight man-to-man defense.
Hawks looking for someone.
That's Crespo.
Crespo on the drive.
Ooh.
Not this time.
I'll tell you,
Venturowitz with the rebound. To Whalen, they'll bring it up court quickly. Whalen looking. Beck in a corner. Cannon will make the three-pointer, and we're tied.
All right, Timmy Cannon came into this game with 8 three-pointers himself and also gets his 9th. And we remember Timmy from last year, just a fine touch, leads this team in every category.
Babbage, a little push-off, gets away with it and gets the bucket. 5-3, Hawks on top.
So the people who are supposed to score are scoring.
Scoring.
Whalen can't make it go.
Wakil with the rebound.
Steal by Whalen, but controlled by Babbage. O'Toole from the corner. He's got to move it out to Crespo. They look inside, thrown away.
And you can tell these are youthful teams. They're trying a little bit too hard to create offense that isn't there.
And Stevens coming down. They notice the 3-guard offense here, and they're giving up some size for speed.
Whalen looks inside.
It's another push inside.
Venturowitz and a foul. No, they're going to call traveling.
It just seems that these teams are just hell-bent on getting the ball inside.
Brian Benchowitz called on the walk, and Timmy Babbage brings it down.
First period action, 5:15 remaining. The Hawks on top, 5-3. Loose ball, and it'll stay with the Hawks.
Don't need a shot clock in this game.
New season, 1994. East Brunswick now starting to take on their GMC opponents.
They've already faced Woodbridge. That's their first one, and they lost to them in the opening night. That's been a low point for this team, and they also have one win.
Rebound by Beck.
And that was the Piscataway game, which many feel was Piscataway was an excellent team. As a matter of fact, they beat Amboy by 35, Phil.
Deceptive. I
thought you were going to talk about that.
Venturowitz trying to keep it alive. Ball's on the line, goes over to J.P. Stevens.
Jim, you mentioned that Piscataway beat Perth Amboy and East Brunswick beat Piscataway. Perth Amboy did not have Jose Arena nor Snipes playing, and that's a great part of their offense right there.
You bet.
That is their offense. Savage forces inside. Easy layup, missed.
Wow, what a sequence that was.
Pufferman had the basket, couldn't convert.
He had an open lane, and the rebound comes down to Beck on the floor.
Neil Beck with the rebound on his back.
We're still at 5-3. East Brunswick trailing by 2. First period action from East Brunswick High School. Dan Lewin looks in the corner. There's the shot and a goal by Cannon.
And I tell you,
three-pointer again.
He looks very comfortable, Jim.
Sure does.
Sort of reminds you of a little bit of Mike Reisner with that nice, soft touch.
About 3 inches taller. It's an important year for Timmy Cannon. I think if he continues to show his outside shooting prowess. Go ahead, John.
No, Babbage with the basket makes it 6-5. East Brunswick by 1.
Check. That's that should be 7-6.
Yeah, I think there's a question over that whether it's three-pointer. Yeah. Cannon with the rebound, comes down quickly, takes the lane.
Oh, good feed.
Feed to Van Leeuwen. Tap it, still alive, and Stevens controlling the offensive boards.
Timmy Cannon has grown quite a bit, runs the court nicely. Oh, offense.
Babbage on the charge.
All right. And I'll tell you, Rich Whalen, give him some credit for taking that one. That's probably as hard as a shot as he's taken even in football. Bounces right back up.
All right, we got to still straighten out the clock. East Brunswick should have 6.
All right, now they reset the clock. It's
7-5, but it should be 7-6.
And I'll tell you, take a look at Whalen out there. He's, I think they're substituting. He took a good shot, gentlemen.
Coming in is number 25, Kareem Glover.
And we remember Kareem from last year, a fine ball handler, a fine outside touch, and will drive on you as well.
Dan Lewin brings it up. Our score is now East Brunswick 5, Stevens 7, and we still think that's wrong. It should be 7-6, I believe.
Unless the official gave that second shot that Cannon made from the corner 2 points instead of 3. We're going to check that.
Dan Lewin hits. Well, it's all moved because we're tied at 7.
Okay.
tell you, that's a young man we're going to talk about a lot tonight as well. Van Leeuwen has come on to pick up the scoring slack, was a leader on the JV team and the freshman team the year before that, and just a fine ball player.
Stevens looks inside, and they finally get it with Kufferman. 9-7, Hawks by 2. Glover across. Benchroids in the corner. Van Leeuwen looks for Beck underneath.
This is happening too frequently for East Brunswick. They're pushing the ball and the turnover is occurring. Guys, haven't seen any substitutions yet. Is that an indication of East Brunswick's bench?
Well, Glover's in for Whalen.
Okay, Glover, one time, yeah, right.
And I think they're balanced enough that you're going to see quite a bit. Bo's just not ready yet.
Pace is slowed a little bit here, as Stevens, like East Brunswick, will be looking to work it inside. There they go again, trying to loft it to Kufferman.
Bentrovic gets his hand on it, knocks it out.
Glover quickly down to Van Leeuwen. He'll drive, lay it up. Not this time.
Wow, Keel.
And no rebounds.
You know, really, they're really pushing the ball inside, and if East Brunswick is as good an outside shooting team as Henning says he is, let's give it a shot.
Now they're going to call a travel. Moved by Shaw, won't go. And we have number 32 coming in for East Brunswick, Kolakowski. Our score is 9-7, Hawks by 2, 1:54 remaining, first period. East Brunswick looking to even their record at 3-3. Cannon, not this time. Rebound, Kolakowski, he'll put it back out.
Let them take it again. I mean, they're going back and forth on this zone.
And he'll call a travel.
Okay, I think they waited too long to hit Cannon on that. Cannon was open previously when they swung it to the other side, and when you're hot, you want to get it in his hands.
We should mention number 20, Joe Moran, is in for the Bears. Babbage.
Ooh.
Crespo, nice move outside to O'Toole. He makes it.
And the guards are what keeps J.P. Stevens in this game here.
11-7. Moran gives it to Glover. Into the paint. He puts it back out. Kolakowski. No, Beck on the rebound. Struggling. He'll get it back out. Cannon. Off the glass.
I'll tell you, Jim, I'm terribly impressed with Timmy Cannon. We knew he was a fine ball player, but he's showing an all-around game. Rebounding, fine moves, quick feet.
11-9. Hawks by 2. 38 seconds remaining. Crespo on the drive, back to Shaw, knocked away by Glover.
That was a good defensive sequence for East Brunswick. They clogged the middle as well they should. Stevens was getting too many inside opportunities, especially on the lob passes.
From under their own basket now, Stevens looking for Kufferman underneath. Shaw picks it up and puts it in. Glover down quickly, Kolakowski partially blocked.
I'll tell you.
18 seconds. Shaw gives it to Babbage. Ball's loose, Beck comes up with it. 7 seconds.
Lots of time, lots
Glover.
of time.
Off the glass, 11-13 now. Bears by 2 at the end of 1.
13-11 now, right? Stevens by 2?
Stevens by 2. Yep. And so we'll go listen to Bo Henning as he moves to get this team going. Only down by a basket.
Can do. Okay, now, when we don't have the break, I don't want to slow you down, don't get me wrong. We want to keep pushing, we want to keep running. But when we don't have it, you got to give your offense a chance. How are we starting it off a dead ball? How are we starting open off a dead ball?
Back screen.
Yeah, no, not down. Back, okay? The way they're playing it, you may be able to go directly to the guy coming off the back screen from the point, okay? May be able to go directly in. I think on this end, the only thing that's hurting us is dribble penetration. Dribble penetration, right? Babbage is a tough matchup. You got to work like hell the whole time. Let's extend. Let's extend on him a little bit. Let's make him work a little bit harder, okay? The kid you're guarding, you got to be off him a step once he gets it. Okay. Defense. 1, 2, 3.
Defense.
Phil, some interesting strategy there. They're going to force Babbage to play a little harder.
Babbage just hurts him when he's able to penetrate, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Try to make Babbage work a lot harder before he can get in there. And let's take a look.
Well, the thing that maybe
put on him.
A little bit of a disappointment, although not mentioned by Bo specifically, is that offensive rebounding, Jim.
Yeah, it's not
there. Non-existent.
And that's going to be important.
Okay, we got Glover on Babbage, and
we start the second period. The Bears down by 2, 13-11. This is Crespo for Stevens. He drives, looks for Kupferman underneath, and they're going to say he traveled.
Well,
Kupferman's a big kid, and he's very physical under that board there, but not quite as polished as you might expect. And J.P. Stevens is at a disadvantage. They have a senior starter, Gerard Denigris, who's out, had his appendix taken out, so he's expected to be back by mid-January.
All right, you have another
move underneath. Glover.
That was Kolakowski, number 32. He's another sophomore that's just in the lineup.
I'll tell you, very young team.
Cannon with the follow-up in the basket. We're tied at 13. Crespo driving, actually pushing.
They like to penetrate, don't they?
Here we come. Moran down for the Bears. Quickly looks underneath. Benchroids puts it up. Not there. Shaw on the rebound.
You're right, John. It just wasn't there, and that's the problem with East Brunswick. They're trying to create shots, opportunities. They're just not there.
Crespo now serving as the lead or the quarterback. There's Babbage. And they're going to say he took a step.
I think it's fair to say, Phil, that they don't allow as much traveling here as they do in college and professional. That's for sure.
Another point I want to make,
whistles.
looking at Crespo here, his coach points out that he played for Perth Amboy Tech, and yes, they were state champs, and they were a fine team. But when you're playing in the red division day in and day out, it's a lot tougher, and he's finding out that the competition is a lot tougher, and he's having to adjust to that.
Glover brings it up. We're tied at 13, 6:30 remaining in the second period. Benchowitz has it stolen, and nice. A great save by O'Toole. Babbage back to O'Toole. And a big rebound there by number 21, that's Bloom, Jason Bloom. Glover in the corner, Van Leeuwen, nice move. Up just short, ball's alive. And it's saved by Eckert. Hawks by 2, 15-13. Babbage sets it up.
And he's tripped.
And a foul's going to be called on number 40, Betcherowitz.
All right, or is it Glover? Let's see. Betcherowitz, I suppose.
Glover comes out, as does Kolakowski. Whalen and Beck come back in. Stevens controlling the ball. Babbage way out of line. Rebound, Whalen. He's got a man on the wing. Van Leeuwen.
Nice feed.
We're tied at 15.
Nice dish and nice swish. Rich Whalen leading the break.
It's one of the few times that the fast break worked for East Brunswick.
O'Toole looking for some help.
And good pressure defense by the Bears. It causes the turnover.
Van Leeuwen comes up with it. In the corner, Moran underneath.
Good movement. Great movement.
And a foul.
I'll tell you, that's Bo's got to be very pleased. Good movement by the Bears there, running the court well. Benchowitz puts it down and draws the foul as well.
And a timeout by Stevens.
Foul was on Eckert. Number 23, that's his first.
But we should point out tonight is Thursday, January 8th. The game Tuesday against Perth Amboy was snowed out or canceled. And we missed the opportunity to see Jose Urena. You talk about three-point shooters in the state of New Jersey. I imagine, Jim, that game will be rescheduled.
Yeah, I believe 21st of January, February 12th. Okay, so that's a Saturday.
I'm hoping we can do that game. It's, as you mentioned, John, one of the premier players in the county, Jose Urena, and They said he had something like 180 three-pointers at this juncture here. Leads the county in scoring. Wesley Snipes and Ronaldo Snipes, who can go up and dunk
Jim,
like anything.
You mentioned the GMC Red Division and the quality of competition this year.
Well,
who would you say are the favorites, though, as you look out?
For the Red Division?
Yeah.
I guess probably Perth Amboy has to be the favorite, but St. Joe's is right up there, as they usually are. Piscataway, as we mentioned, is a decent team. Even though East Brunswick beat them, they can beat any team on any given night. East Brunswick probably is in the middle of the pack right now, and then you've got Edison and Woodbridge, two other teams that are in a rebuilding mode.
All right, Bencherowitz goes to the line to complete the three-point play.
And Bencherowitz is a solid role player here. He does a little bit of everything. He's a rugged player, rebounds well, shoots well.
Saw a lot of action last year as a varsity performer.
Well, Whalen keeps it alive. Underneath Beck, all by himself.
And East Brunswick is doing a lot of good things now with offensive movement. A lot of open shots underneath.
Bears
that wasn't the case.
Bears are on top, 19-15. 5 minutes remaining before halftime. Shot by Bloom, short. And here come the Bears.
It's a good zone that forced that
Van
outside
Leeuwen
shot.
underneath to Bencherowitz.
Woo.
Yes, as he goes to the floor.
Went nice to the hoop. It's about 5 trips down that they've scored underneath.
21-15. Crespo now serving at the point for the Hawks. Stolen by Whalen. Takes it himself.
Great move.
That was terrific.
I'll tell you, it looked off as if he was going to pass the ball and then took it up himself there.
With the right hand.
The Bears extend their lead now, 23-15.
This could be timeout time. Stevens.
O'Toole back to Crespo. Good defense by the Bears. They're playing a man at the moment. Stevens looking inside, nowhere to go. Crespo will take it. Has it stolen by Beck. They'll say he traveled with it.
Still in all.
I'll tell you, Beck has been impressive as well. Fine defensive performance, has been tough on the boards as well.
Some wholesale changes for JP Stevens. They're down 23-15. And they're looking tired, Phil.
They're looking tired, and that's one of the reasons for the substitutions. The Bears are substituting as well. They seem to be really well conditioned.
Good point. Good point, they are.
And I think that's paying off for them.
I think the offensive success that East Brunswick has had down on this end of the court has caused problems up on this end.
Babbage now will try to set things up. 3:35 remaining, second period. East Brunswick on top, 23-15.
Still looking underneath.
They're bringing the big men out now. Stolen by Cannon. He's going all the way.
Oh, wow.
And he's fouled.
Mercy, mercy, mercy.
That was quite a move.
I'll tell you,
He blew by Shaw. Wow.
And I tell you, folks, Timmy Cannon, the 6'4" senior, we've seen him for a few years now, has developed into an all-around player, ran the court very well down there, kept his body under control, put it up, put it down, drew the foul, and you couldn't ask for more.
Timeout Stevens, and let's listen in to Bo Henning.
Let's go.
Nice take, Rich. Good job, Richie. That's what I did.
Okay, if I were them, I'd press you right now. Okay, so let's be real heads up for it. Right now, Brian has it out of bounds, okay? All right, no let up on the defense, right? Doing a superb job. Don't foul that kid out on the perimeter. You make him stick it out there. Who's on the little kid now? Crespo, you? Yeah, same thing. He hadn't shown me an outside shot. He wants to get to the basket. If they get dribble penetration and you're guarding a man out by the foul line, what do you got to do? What do you got to do? Get down to the ball. Get down to the ball, right down to the baseline. Okay, Neil's doing a great job rotating, but we've got to have guys helping Neil too. Okay, keep pushing the ball. Okay, keep pushing the ball. Let's go.
Let's go. I'll tell you what, if you want a clinic on how to run a huddle, that was it. Every one of Bo Henning's words had instruction in it, and it was directed toward his players. They all know what their roles are. That's a good huddle right there.
It's a good huddle, and he said keep pushing the ball, which means he wants to run them into the ground. Stevens appears to be somewhat winded, and the Bears look like they're ready to run.
Cannon off the back of the iron.
Gets another shot. Somebody stepped in.
I'll tell you, the 6'4" senior, Timmy Cannon, averaging 15.2 points per game, and as I said, leads every offensive category for the Bears.
Shaw, by the way, picked up his second foul.
Bears increased their lead to 11, 26-15.
So that's a mistake for Stevens right there, allowing another shot.
Shaw looking for somewhere to go. He's going to put it up. Not quite.
Definitely enforced.
Here comes Cannon. Oh, whoa, he's mugged.
They're saying jump.
Jump ball. Yeah, he had nobody to pass it to. Probably shouldn't have gone up with it. He should have passed off. And the ball goes to who?
I'll tell you again.
Yeah, we're not sure yet.
You're looking at Timmy's athleticism, and
it's going East Brunswick.
Okay. That was probably trying to do a little too much right there.
Glover to Van Leeuwen. Shot, yes, all net.
There you got your look at the sophomore outside shooting.
The name is Matt Van Leeuwen.
28-15.
It's good form.
Bears by 13. 2:40 remaining, second period, short. Cannon down court, Van Leeuwen.
Take it himself.
Off the glass, yes.
Mercy.
And Van Leeuwen has 8 points. Cannon has 12, by the way.
Well, we got some people that like to shoot that ball, too.
Yeah, well, they
aren't shy.
30-16. East Brunswick, comfortable lead. I'm sorry, 30-15.
Boy, I'll tell you what, they turned up the defensive intensity down this end of the floor, and it created all kinds of opportunities to score down the other end.
And I've got to say, J.P. Stevens is out of their game.
Slightly.
Well, they're down 15 points. They're out of something, gentlemen. And
another timeout, Stevens.
No timeout. I thought so too, the way the Stevens players were getting up.
All right, the ball goes over to East Brunswick. They have a 15-point lead with 2 minutes remaining, second period. Beck, turnaround, short, fights for it. Ball still alive. There's Cannon, three-pointer. Yes!
I get the feeling this is East Brunswick's night. 14 points for Timmy Cannon.
And just a confident shooter.
And a steal by Glover.
He'll go in alone.
Oh, stuffed by Kupferman. Babbage.
Offense.
Babbage is dipping and pushing at the same time.
A lot of things happening on that. Glover going down the other end. I think he got away with an elbow, but then he got stuffed.
And Babbage came back down this end of the court, I think a little bit frustrated, tried to do a spin move to get in and was called for the offensive foul.
And Phil, I want to mention, I'm just having to look it over, and I know Stevens is down, but there's no excitement on that bench at all, no energy.
I think they might be shocked.
18-point lead here.
Beck looking for someone. Ball's alive, great play by Benchowitz to keep it going.
Wow.
And Beck falls on the fumble.
I'll tell you.
It goes to Stevens.
I'll tell you one thing. You look at this team hustling like they are, diving for balls, and Bo Henning says about this team, they're just a pleasure to coach. It's a pleasure to come to practice, and very rarely does a coach say that about a team. So he's got good chemistry here. He says they'll work hard as anything, and that's all. If you're a coach, that's all you want of your players. So he says they're just a joy to coach, and you've seen why.
1 minute remains, second period. Bears on top, 33-15. They explode for 22 points this period. And almost another turnover.
Lots of problems with this defense right here.
Crespo is blocked by Van Leeuwen. And actually Van Leeuwen tips it in for him.
How long has it been since they scored?
33-17. Cannon steps up, takes a shot, follows up, and makes it.
And Stevens is standing around on defense.
25 seconds. 35-17. Babbage is called for a charge.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I don't know what Henning did with his defense, but they have just shut down J.P. Stevens. They're not even getting a good shot off.
And I'll tell you, Randy Westrel has to be somewhat surprised. We felt maybe these teams were pretty even here. and sort of mirrored each other, and the Bears have just turned it up a notch altogether.
Well, to put it in perspective, they had 13 points at the end of the first period. They now have 17, so 4 points here in the second period for Stevens.
Tim Cannon has matched Stevens' total output, 17 points.
6 seconds remaining. Cannon takes it into the paint, has it knocked away. Foul is called.
And he's going to have a chance to bring it up to 19. And when's the last time an East Brunswick player had 19 points and a half?
I'll tell you.
Foul is on Seabuck, number 14. Two seconds remain as Cannon goes to the line. Bears on top, 35-17.
And as you take a good look at Timmy Cannon, number 44 at the line there, not only is he a good ball player, he's a good student as well. And I understand a number of Ivy League schools are looking at him, and he's just put on a performance this half.
Shot is good, 36-17. As soon as someone hits the scoreboard, the clock. Let's make it 37. They missed the point.
Okay, so it's 37-17,
It's
right?
37-17 at the half, and gentlemen, you got to be impressed.
I'll tell you, I truly am, John. I hadn't really seen this team. I heard a lot about them. Frank Knoppenberger talked about them about a month ago, how good this team was going to be. And what really impresses me is, first of all, Timmy Cannon in the open court. I don't know the last time we've seen an East Brunswick player in the open court as agile and as smooth as he is. He's just a very impressive player. Another young fella is the sophomore Whalen. You got to understand he's pretty much quarterbacking his team, is doing a very fine job there. And a lot of role players that are given 100%, and that's what Bo Henning was talking about. The fact that this team will work for him, and they've been impressive.
As you see, the East Brunswick High School cheerleaders out on the court now at halftime. The Bears are on top 36-17. We'll take a timeout, and we'll be back with the start of the third period in just a moment. Well, we welcome you back to the second half of the East Brunswick J.P. Stevens game. The Bears are on top 37-17, and Jimmy, a rundown on the scoring.
Well, I can tell you that Tim Cannon, with his 19 first half points, has outscored J.P. Stevens, who only has 17 points in total. The game was pretty even there for a while, but the East Brunswick just shot out of the blocks. A lot of offensive opportunities. So Cannon has 19, and I'd like to know, last time, there's that many points scored in a half by an East Brunswick player. Van Leeuwen, the sophomore that Phil talked about that we saw, had 8 points, 4 field goals. Bentrowitz had 4 points as well, and Neil Beck, Richie Whalen, and Kareem Glover each had 2 points. Babbage is the leading scorer for J.P. Stevens with 7 points, and there's 2 points for about 5 other players.
Well, I guess if you're Bo Henning, not much more to say. Play that good defense and take advantage of the opportunities. If you're the Stevens coach, I don't know what you would say. Phil, any thoughts?
Say, hey, it's another half. Let's get out there and play.
East Brunswick will start off with the possession.
I'd be interested to see what Stevens does to try to stop.
Here we go.
And there we go. Stevens, Kufferman on the steal.
Notice the jam. Well, they're going to gamble a little bit. They have nothing to lose.
They have to.
See them pressing right now, full court pressure.
Whalen bringing it up. East Brunswick will settle it down a little bit.
This is Cannon. I want to see what they try to do to him.
Whalen calls out the play. He's the quarterback here. Ball is stolen and 2 turnovers.
Yes, what
Lazy
they're going to do.
passes.
And as I said, pointing out, they're going to gamble. They have to.
Crespo to the outside. O'Toole short. Rebound, Cannon.
Well, he does everything, doesn't he?
He is impressive. Whalen quickly takes it down the lane and has it blocked by Shaw, and he's fouled.
Well, Phil, you mentioned one of the positive attributes of this team is they like to put it to the hoop. They like to go in deep.
And as you see, Rich Whalen to the line. For those who don't know, the younger brother of Katie Whalen of the Lady Bears, and this is just an impressive young athlete. We talked about him on the football field, what great hands he has. He's going to be an outstanding receiver on the football field next year. And I think after Greg Kohlheim has gone from quarterback, you might expect to see Rich Whalen quarterbacking the Bears as well. I might be premature, but he's just a fine all-around athlete.
As we mentioned, A little family history there.
His
The
father,
Whalens,
that's right, was the quarterback for the Bears.
And played basketball. Obviously, the younger Whalen here is much better looking than his dad.
You said that.
Anyway, it's 38-19, the Bears with a comfortable margin.
And Beck with a nice steal there, broke up the play.
Phil, you got to be impressed by the hustle. You mentioned it before. A young team, they're coming out to showing their wares, and it's very impressive.
I'll repeat it again. Bo Henning says it's just a pleasure to come to practice to coach these guys. And coaches say a lot of things about players, but very rarely you hear something like that.
Boy, they were playing that switch in defense just
Well into Cannon, a little bit too far underneath, but he's fouled.
Cannon was nudged underneath, so he wasn't able to get that shot up.
And Bo was telling him to think there. I think, I don't know if Timmy was going to go in and try the jam or what. But Bo was telling him, just think.
So O'Toole picks up his first foul. East Brunswick only has 2 team fouls the first half. Cannon had 1 and Bentrowitz had 1, so no problem in that area.
Nothing there. We're starting the third period if you just joined us. 6:34 remaining. The Bears are on top 38-19. Make that 39-19, a 20-point lead for East Brunswick.
You have to believe that Tim Cannon's going to get a lot of free throw opportunities this year. Coming into this game, he was only shooting 32%, but he's improved upon that average.
And that's Beck with a good hand again, knocking the ball away.
4 for 6.
Bentrowitz comes down with it, gives it to Whalen, who puts it in the corner to Cannon. He'll put it up.
Bing.
Yes.
Bing.
He's unconscious, I tell you.
He's got 22.
41-19. The Bears having their way tonight.
This is one of those nights where Cannon feels that everything's going to go in.
Babbitt short, air ball, as they say. Crespo blocked by Beck.
I'll tell
Here
you,
they come.
Crespo, a lot of guts going up there. The smallest man on the court going up between the trees there. Got it blocked back that time.
Well, Phil, if you remember at one of the huddles, Bo said Crespo hasn't shown him an outside shot yet, so
he's got to try to take it up on the inside.
That's right. They were waiting for him.
And I think this explosion of offense by East Brunswick has really gotten J.P. Stevens down. They're not. You mentioned they're not enthusiastic on the bench.
Yeah, very quiet. And they're not moving on the court. Look. Crespo looking for some help. Finally dishes it off to O'Toole. O'Toole has it blocked by Cannon. 3-on-1. Van Leeuwen, yes, and he's fouled.
Wow. Great body control.
And wholesale changes now for Stevens.
Clearing the bench.
Sending a whole new team here.
Well, I understand the strategy there. By the way, that's 4 fouls on Babbage.
And I tell you, take a look at Matt Van Leeuwen, and Bo Henning says he's just a clutch player. He, in the game against Paul VI of Haddonfield, he came up with the jumper to beat them at, and he's also had a game where he scored 29 points. He's a little inconsistent, but has a fine touch.
This is a strange move, taking out all the starters.
Well, it's not a strange move, Jim. What the coach is saying is it's a message, right? He's upset. He thinks they can play better.
44-19.
Kind of giving up the game here, I suppose.
Well, it's more of a message. I don't think he's giving up. I think it's the message for the future. The fact of the matter is the Bears are hustling their tail off there, and he may not see that in his team, and he may want to send a message to the starting 5.
And they're going to call a travel.
So how long do you think this will go on?
A couple months at least.
No. I'll tell you, you're talking about Randy Westrol, and when we get to timeout, I'll tell you a little bit about him. He's a fine coach with a fine background.
Good defense there for Stevens. On the drive, won't go this time.
I think that was a stuff attempt.
Shaw. And Shaw is still fighting underneath as he's fouled. Good defense there by number 12, Del Rio. And Paul Belding, number 24, is going to the line. I keep calling him Shaw. I forgot that team is out.
And as you look at, is it Belding?
Bolding.
Paul Bolding.
Bolding at the line there. Talking about Randy Westrol, He's taking his lumps right now, but he's a fine coach. He's been at Stevens for 5 years. They won the JV tournament last year, so his players are very young. He has a senior starter that's not playing today, who's one of the better players. That's hurting him. But he was assistant at Elizabeth High School under Ben Condola. And Coach Luther Wright and Chris Gatling, some of the players to name.
Van Leeuwen, bingo.
And he has 13 points.
46-20 and a 26-point lead for East Brunswick with 4:20 remaining here in the third period.
Wow.
Steal by Cannon. Man underneath, stolen by J.P. Stevens.
Good strong move.
I tell you.
That's number 22, Yearwood, Mike Yearwood.
Here we go.
Glover, Bencherwitz at the line, dishes it off. Van Leeuwen, little short. Cannon rebounds, fights, looks underneath, and is fouled.
Will they call a shooting foul?
Good point, Jim. He appeared to be passing the ball rather than shooting, and on the pass off, they're going to take it out underneath.
Phil, we hear Michigan.
Well, Bo has a lot of different defenses. You'll hear Princeton, Michigan, and so forth. And
Cannon missed that one.
Cannon misses. Yearwood underneath.
I'll tell you what.
And it rolls in for Seabuck.
This team's showing a little bit more chemistry than starters
you gotta believe
did.
that this team is, well, overall, this team is probably a better team than they've shown thus far.
46-24. Bears comfortably in the lead. Inside Beck, and he's fouled. Yearwood.
Yearwood reaching in over the top there.
5th team foul. Next one will be a 1-on-1.
Clock showing 3:25 here in the third period.
Okay, Cannon will take a rest, as will Whalen, the top 2 scorers for East Brunswick.
Glover gets it into Kolakowski. Feeds it to Beck. Beck is being mauled underneath, no call. Kolakowski looks underneath, there's Bencherwitz.
That's good eyesight there.
This unselfish team here with good ball movement.
What was that, Phil? That Butterfinger got stuck in there.
Strung off the boards, but it's stolen.
Del Rio trying to fight for the ball with Beck. That won't go. Glover will bring it down. Moran falling, gets it off, looking for some help. And it stays East Brunswick's way.
Everything's going the Bears' way right now.
Cannon back in. I mentioned Whalen came out. It's Van Leeuwen, okay.
The Bears are up by 24, 48-24. 2:49 showing. Cannon will inbound.
Again, he has 22 points. I'm sure he'd like to get 30 here.
Glover loses control of it. Del Rio comes up with it. Little guy scrappy. And Seabuck with the follow-up.
Good follow-up by Seabuck.
48-26.
This game's a little bit sloppier now.
Glover underneath. Benchwitz, nice.
Ooh, good English.
Nice underneath and up move. 50-26. Seabuck and Moran, they're going to call it on Moran.
A lot of bumping going on there.
Hey, Phil, if you look at Yearwood real quick, who's he remind you of?
Number 22?
Yeah, watch when he turns around.
Oh, gosh. The
Michael
resemblance
Jordan?
is striking.
He's,
striking.
You're right.
I had to look twice there for a moment.
Similarities are there.
Phil was thinking himself, but
He's a good-looking kid.
See how he jumps. There's another steal. Oops.
Bencherwitz, no.
Ooh. Hey, that ref must have been a soccer player. Good foot control there.
Well, as you can tell by the commentary, the Bears are way in the lead, 50-26.
Good steal by Cannon.
Cannon's all over the court tonight as he brings it down.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
Whoa.
All the way.
Oh.
Yes.
Let's see a videotape replay on that one.
Folks. You just got to play it back.
24 points.
Rebound, dribbled down the court behind the back, took it in, floated through the air, and put it up nicely.
52-26, a minute 35 remaining.
And look at the hustle.
Well, I'll tell you what, we picked a good game to open up with.
Look at the hustle, I'll tell you.
It's going to be a fun team to watch.
And in comes number 51, and that is Justin Harper.
Boom.
Oh, well.
A minute 30 remaining here in the third period. And you've got to like the action if you're an East Brunswick fan.
They're still pressing.
Glover takes it down. Kolakowski won't go this time.
A lot of people are going to get shooting opportunities tonight.
Del Rio on the drive. Kolakowski pulls it down, gets it out to Cannon. Down court is Moran. Cannon on the follow-up.
Wow.
He feels it tonight, huh?
Glover gets it. Harper now. We'll give it back out to Glover.
Cannon made the outlet pass and somehow ended up being down there to get the rebound off the board.
Great
Moran
pass.
underneath. Good pass from Harper.
Yes, it was. And I'll tell you what, I think Bohannon would like to can this videotape here and just play it over and over again for each game. They are doing everything right.
Clock is down to 35 seconds. Third period. Del Rio to Seabuck, three-pointer. Short, rebound Harper. He'll give it to Glover. Over to Moran, they look underneath. Moran will put it up. Three-pointer in and out. Cannon almost had it. Kolakowski does get it. No call there.
Okay, good movement by Kolakowski to put the ball up, tried to draw the foul. It's knocked out of bounds.
He drew everything but a call. 13 seconds. Glover will toss it in. Kolakowski has a lane. He'll take advantage of it. Ball won't drop. And Stevens will bring it up with 5 seconds. Del Rio has it knocked away by Glover.
Oh, he had a lot of time there.
Good heads up by Glover.
And that'll do it. After three, it's East Brunswick 54, JP Stevens 26.
Well, after that second quarter when East Brunswick had a 28-4 edge, I believe, a little bit more tame this period, but nonetheless, really showing free-flowing offense and a real stubborn defense. And boy, I'll tell you what, this East Brunswick team looks good.
Let's listen in on Bo.
Is 3, Brian is 4, Justin is 5. Okay, now, hey, I want to be sound against their pressure. You hear me? We want to get it in quickly. If it's not there, I want a good 1-2 exchange and a hard spin back. Then we try and run our break from there, okay? All right? Take advantage of changing sides of the floor on your break. You'll be amazed how hard it is to defend that inside guy or how hard it is to close out on you as well. Do not carry any offensive mistakes down to our defensive end. That's our game. It's our game, right? Turnovers off of their mistakes, okay? Come on, let's go. Defense, 1, 2, 3. Defense.
Well, Phil, as we get ready for the fourth period, still instructing, still teaching.
Well, Bo is simply saying it's a way of saying being in control. We don't want to know, no matter what we do. If we make an offensive mistake, we don't want to take it down on defense and vice versa, which means keep your head about you.
Here we go, last 8 minutes, and a turnover by Stevens. Whalen back in. Bencherowitz looks inside for Harper, off his fingers. Babbage, three-pointer. And Cannon, who else, comes down with it.
Ooh, mercy.
Harper,
Good
and
luck.
he's fouled.
Good
Oh, they're
luck.
gonna call a travel.
Good feed by
Still was.
Cannon, and Harper just took a step too many.
Well, Babbage is back in. so are some of the other starters for J.P. Stevens.
That's good defense.
Out here we go, 3-on-1. Bad pass that time from Cannon. And a missed layup.
A little bit of a push. All right.
I'm not trying to call this.
Wow.
And finally, a whistle, foul, or call a jump ball.
Okay, remember, Bo hitting to admonition. Do not let our offensive mistakes affect us on defense. And 2 times down the court, you saw that's exactly what happened. And they can't be pleased with that, even though they're up by quite a bit.
54-26 is our score. The Bears in the lead. Van Leeuwen won't go. Cannon rebounds, spins, puts it back up, in and out.
Petrovic.
And it's off of East Brunswick.
Shall we say this game is settling down?
Stevens still looking inside. It hasn't been there all night.
And great defense by the Bears, who are content to stay in the man-to-man.
Cannon gets it over to Whalen. Harper's by himself. Ball still loose.
Wow. Van Leeuwen with the push there. And he got that out of that.
Scrappy player. You know, Matt Van Leeuwen played AAU ball this summer, Phil, which is a great experience for him.
I understand, the only Bear.
Yep, the only one that did. And you can see he's a seasoned performer already.
Stevens will inbound. 6 minutes remaining in the game. Would take a tremendous comeback at this point for the Hawks. And turnovers are killing them.
Cannon's going to have it by himself.
Oh, wow.
That's a technical.
That's a technical. It's got to be.
It is.
It's got to be a technical, and they're probably going to put the young man, send the young man to the bench, let's say.
Shaw was not going to let Cannon go to the hoop and stuff it.
And fortunately, Cannon seems to be fine, but they're calling it a technical, and no, they're not going to. Well, not going to put him out, but it was rather an aggressive foul. And that's the franchise player there, so you really don't want anything happening. You don't want anything happening to anyone.
And you heard Bo Henning, I don't know if you picked it up, he said he's too good of a player to be run into the wall.
Well, so this would be 3 shots then, right?
I believe so. For a minute there, Phil, I thought that was George Booth going into the end zone.
Timmy Cannon coming into this game shooting only 32% from the free throw line, and that's not unusual. A lot of good offensive players sometimes just aren't that sharp from the free throw line. I expect them to get better.
East Brunswick controls it.
Well, I can see emotions are going to get a little hot here.
Van Leeuwen won't go.
Ooh. Okay. Well, emotion. I think you may be right, Jim, and I think the officials might have to huddle them up and
calm it down.
Calm it down.
It's just natural for East Brunswick to want to, hit back if they can. They're talking.
And Stevens wants a timeout,
which is probably a good move.
All right, let's listen in on Bo.
Jeremy. Oh, you're for shooter. He's shooting. He's shooting.
Play the game. Play the game. He used to be frustrated.
Justin for Neil. For Brian. Hey, you got the ball out against the press. You got the ball out against the press, right? Okay. Hey, just going to play solid 22 defense, okay? Solid 22. I don't want you to stop running. If it's not there, though, I think you'd be wise to get out. Let's work on our half-court offense, okay, if the break isn't there, all right? Be strong off the boards. Be heads up on your press. Okay, let's go. Come on.
Okay, you heard Bo Henning. He says we're going to play solid 22 defense, and that's a half-court defense, half-court man-to-man defense. Interesting. Bo didn't even get into the fact that they're getting physical and so forth, and he just continued to coach and whatnot. He keeps his team calm, like it was no big deal, and let's go on and play, which is good strategy.
Well, I think he. I can't see Cannon coming back into the game, quite frankly. I might be wrong.
I think you're wrong. I think. Well, you think he wants to protect him? There's no purpose, you're saying.
Yeah, just so
because
that things don't get out of hand here.
Well, Babbage just ran into Van Leeuwen after the shot, and the referee just spoke to Babbage. And so I think they're making an attempt to kind of control things as best they can. As Van Leeuwen hits both of them to make it 55-26.
So he has 14, leaves the game. So that might be, again, I think that might be all for the regulars.
5:44 remaining. Bears on top, 55-26. Babbage, three-pointer.
Yes.
Now they're going to say it's two. He was inside the line. 56-28. Bookman is in, number 24 for the Bears.
I'll tell you what, Babbage and Whalen are having a good talking match. They look like they know each other.
They probably do. Whelan's,
yeah.
they're sort of grinning a little bit too, but they're chatting away.
Whalen gets it inside to Harper. He's going to be called for traveling.
And Harper getting some valuable time with the varsity here.
I think Babbage is going to take a shot every opportunity he has. He's got that look.
Stevens looking around. I don't know why they're looking. They're down by 28 points. Shot by Eckert short. And it'll stay with Stevens.
I said Harper getting some valuable time at the varsity. I mean, Harper getting some valuable time, period. Harper is a senior, and another one of those role players for the Bears here that comes in and does his job rather well.
Bears, here comes Moran with it.
And he holds up.
Looks across, Whalen. Off the rim.
Oh, I knew he was going to go with this.
Babbage, yes, three-pointer that time.
Here's their leading three-point shooter there.
56-31. Harper turns.
Oh, fine move.
In and out.
Just didn't go.
Babbage, another three-pointer.
Oh, wow.
He might as well stay in that spot.
Might as well pad those statistics.
Good move by Whalen.
Well, they call him with a charge.
Didn't fall for it.
.410 now.
Eckert, who's been a rather physical player here, is going out of the game.
Babbage looking for a spot. Dishes it off this time. They look inside. Shaw gets it up. Rebound by Bookman.
Caught him that time.
Joaquin Shaw on the back.
East Brunswick take it out from the side. 3:56 remaining. And that's a seventh team foul. So Bookman will go to the line.
And you look at the Bears, and you got to believe that McCorston tournament early on had to help them as well to be in such tough competition so early.
You're right, Phil. They were 1-2 in that tournament.
Had to pay off.
Bookman makes it 57-31. And the Bookman does it. 58-31 with 3:50 left now in this game.
Scream out of the crowd for that.
Yeah. Shot is good by Bloom. Down court is Kolakowski. He'll put it up. Not this time.
Won't go. They want everybody to score tonight.
Babbage. Cross court. Bloom somehow comes up with it. And Bookman will
watch it.
Give it to Whalen. Inside, Harper spins. Just can't get one going. Shaw. Short. Moran.
Well, there comes the last player off the bench.
Stole it, Kufferman.
He lost it.
I don't think that gentleman wants to see that play over again.
And number 15 for East Brunswick, Dan Fisher, makes his entrance tonight.
Fisher, a junior shooting guard, and Glover comes back in as well.
And I think Danny is the son of Bob Fisher.
Played on the football team, if I remember correctly.
Big RU fan. Mr. Fisher's first shot as he's slammed to the floor. It's getting a little rough now with 2:20 remaining.
I believe that was Seabuck, perhaps?
58-35. The Bears on top. Clock winding down, 2:10. Moran, three-pointer off the front.
Over the back.
And it'll go to the Hawks.
I guess there's this urgency to score points tonight.
That's
even though East Brunswick has a 23-point lead here.
Well, Jeremy Bookman over the back there, but once you get your chance to get in the game, Jim, particularly if you've been sitting on a bench, you want to be able to, in the games out of reach, you want to get into the box score.
Babbage. Jefferman, and he's fouled. Foul on Moran.
So East Brunswick lead is dwindling, but certainly not indicative of the way this game is going tonight.
And East Brunswick will take a timeout. Bo doesn't like what he's seeing despite the score.
I'd like to hear what he has to say on this.
Well, we'll follow him into the huddle. We'll listen in.
Wait, Joe, don't worry about that.
Okay, Neil. I got two complaints with you, right? Two complaints. One, you don't have that same intensity down there in that defensive end. The second thing is, up here, there's no semblance of anything. If you don't have your break, let's get a little bit, somebody take control. Let's get us in an offense. Let's run our open. Why would we practice open all year and then not use it when you're in the game? Okay? All right, now be real heads up on the press. We need the 1-2 screen probably to get it in. Then we're pushing our break. We'll keep taking it inside to Justin if that kid's on his back, okay? All right, come on, guys, let's go.
Phil, a little coaching for the future.
For the future, for the reserves, for the guys who aren't normally in there. He's saying you practice just the same way that the first teamers do, and we expect you to do some of the things. They have lost some of their intensity, but there's no way you could expect them to keep up the great intensity they had coming off that second quarter.
Well, Kufferman will go to the line.
And as you see him, he's a 6'5" junior, so he'll be back. Started for the JVs last year.
Cuts East Brunswick's lead to 20, 58-38, a minute 45 remaining. Moran looks for... And scored by Fisher.
And Fisher hits the floor once again, but bounces back up.
I was expecting Harper to try the shot, but he gives it to Fisher for the basket. And he can jump.
Yearbuck.
Yearwood got up in the year.
And you take a good look at Yearwood, number 22. He's a 6'1" sophomore. He'll be back. We talked about the fact this J.P. Stevens team is extremely young themselves, and in due time, they're going to develop.
Yearwood at the line. He's the young man we said has a striking resemblance to Michael Jordan. I'm sure he wish he could play like Michael Jordan, but he is a sophomore, so he's got a lot of time to grow yet. Kolakowski on the rebound to Glover as we go to 1:20 down on the clock.
So we want to see get Harper and Kolakowski on the board here.
Offense.
A little push there.
Okay, a few comments from one of the classy Bear fans. I don't think it came over to Mike.
Bloom hits a three-pointer. 60-42. 18-point lead for East Brunswick. Fisher puts it up. A little long.
Okay, about 50 seconds left. And this has been a tough day for Coach Randy Westrall. But as I mentioned before, you know, they're very young and they'll be back. Interesting young fellow, Westrall himself.
Nice play by Glover to Kolakowski.
Oh. Kolakowski's had a couple of opportunities tonight.
Crespo, three-pointer. Won't go. Bookman, rebound to Glover. They wind it down, 22 seconds remaining. Inside, Harper, off his hands. Kolakowski comes up with the turnover.
I'll tell you, just one of those days at the office.
7 seconds.
Whoops.
Knocked out. That'll stop it with 5 seconds.
Tipped.
And Jim, I was saying, Westrall, he was one of the prime movers for an open county tournament, which he just felt they did it up in Union County.
Yes.
And he felt it was really the proper thing to do here. So some of the fine players that aren't good teams can be seen by the rest of the county, which is a good point.
It's one of the fun things of the year.
Foul call. 3 seconds.
New Jersey High School basketball,
Yeah.
county basketball for sure. So with 3 seconds left, looks like Mr. Harper is going to have his opportunity to get on the board.
And East Brunswick will go to 3-3. Stevens will fall to 2-3. And Harper makes it. And East Brunswick will be, the boys team will be taking on Edison away this Saturday. And then we'll come back here at home against Saraville. Harper converts the second to make it 62-42. 1 second, and that'll do it. And that's our final.
Crespo slams the ball against the glass.
You had to wonder why he didn't shoot it.
Yeah, if you're going to throw it.
Well, it really wasn't a great performance for, and I'm listening to Henning is talking to Stevens' coach about
they're good
probably
friends.
about that one flagrant foul.
Well, they're good friends and they got mutual respect for each other. Bo had a lot of kind words to say about Randy Westrall early today when I spoke with him. And it's just a tough day for Randy and his club, but just a super performance by this Bear team. And I'll tell you, I can't wait to see them compete with some of the elite, the St. Joe's and Perth Amboys.
Some of the better teams, yeah.
Some of the better teams because they have some talent here. It's very young talent, but they have some talent.
Well, our final once again from East Brunswick High School. It's East Brunswick 62, J.P. Stevens 42. East Brunswick improves to 3-3. Stevens falls to 2-3. So for Phil Hill and Jim Allinder, I'm John Meggiiolaro saying thanks for being with us.